What's going on, everyone? BouseFeenux here, and today we're taking a beginner to intermediate look at the second character to be released with Season 2, the Shinobi. This video is going to be pretty similar to my Centurion guide, and if you haven't seen that yet, check it out by clicking the card in the top right of your screen. Anyway, we've got a lot of ground to cover because Shinobi has a massive move list, so let's get into it. Starting with the basics, let's go over his attacks from the move list. First up, the attack you're seeing now is called the Shadow Dancer. This is a 2-hit light-light combo, and if the first light hits, the second one is guaranteed if you press the light attack button fast enough. To pull this one off, get your first light, then without changing guard direction, press the light attack button right as the first light hits. This is kind of like the Orochi and Warden where they have those guaranteed follow-ups. Next on the list, we've got Sickle Rain. I think with the exception of infinite combos, this is the only attack chain in the game with 5 inputs. Don't worry though, it's not super hard to pull off. To land it, get a heavy, follow up with another heavy, and then you'll have to time the 3 light attacks. If you're too fast or too slow, the move will cancel and you won't get the other attacks in. If you get the second heavy, these other attacks are guaranteed. The timing for this is similar to the Peacekeeper triple stab, if that helps you kind of get it down. Moving on though, we've got Ghoul's Rage, which is your heavy light chain combo. Similar to Shadow Dancer, the second attack in the chain, which is a light attack, is guaranteed if the heavy hits. To do that, land your heavy, and as soon as it connects, spam your light attack button. You can also just do a heavy and a regular light. Now we're getting into ranged chain attacks. This is called Spider Silk Whip, and it's a ranged heavy attack. To land it, hold the heavy attack button to charge up, and then release the heavy attack button. When it hits, you can follow up with another heavy. Be careful when using these ranged moves though. If you get parried, you will be on the ground. Moving on to the next move though, we've got your Tackle. This is your running move that's initiated by sprinting and then pressing the guard break button. If it connects, it'll knock the enemy down. And after that, we've got the Super Sprint, aka the Naruto run. This is a pretty simple move, just sprint, then press the sprint button again to toggle Super Sprint. This move drains a ton of stamina very quickly, so use it wisely. You can also toggle it on and off, going from regular sprint to super sprint by just tapping the sprint button. Alright, so up until this point, we have seen the charge mechanic a little bit, but let's take a look at a few ways you can utilize it. To charge an attack, simply hold down the heavy attack button. This is kind of like the Conqueror charged heavy. From here, you can let it go and get a ranged heavy attack in, or you can cancel it by pressing the guard break button while you're holding down the heavy attack button. This gives you the ranged guard break. The next thing I want to show you is that from a ranged guard break, you can go right into your Sickle Rain combo. This is called the Sickle Rain mix-up, and to execute it, perform a ranged guard break, then right as the enemy is pulled to you, do your heavy attack, then the 3 lights. Be careful with this one in 1v1 though, because most people can see it coming from a mile away, and if they counter your guard break, it'll throw you to the ground just like when your ranged heavy gets parried. Next up, we're going to learn one of the most powerful tools in Shinobi's kit, which is the kick mix-up. To perform a kick, double dash, then press the guard break button. After you land the kick, you've got a few options. You can hit guard break again and do a ranged guard break, or you can throw out a heavy attack, which is guaranteed if the kick lands. Landing the heavy attack from the kick mix-up takes you into another combo called the front roll kick. If you chain together a kick, heavy, and a front roll kick, you'll do a ton of stamina damage, and if the opponent is out of stamina, there isn't much they can do to avoid this combo. That's why pretty much everyone is spamming this right now. It's your bread and butter. Use it well, and you'll become Salt incarnate. If you don't want to land the kick after the front roll, however, you have another option. You can do a front roll into a heavy attack, which takes you into your Sickle Rain combo if it lands. Another tool in Shinobi's kit is the Backflip. After a light attack, heavy attack, or dodge kick, you can backflip. Just execute one of those and immediately press the dodge button. After the backflip, you can then throw a ranged heavy or a grab. Be careful though, because if you get parried, you're on the ground. Now, the second to last thing I want to take a look at here are your options after a deflect. Being an assassin, Shinobi has a deflect mechanic, and if you're super new to the game, a deflect is executed by dodging in the direction of an opponent's attack just at the right time. Every attack has different timing, so this takes some practice to get used to. Anyway, after getting the deflect, Shinobi will teleport behind the enemy, and you can do one of two things. First, you can press guard break for a kick that knocks the enemy back a pretty great distance, or you can do a light attack that inflicts a small amount of bleed damage. The choice there is yours. The last move on Shinobi's list, though, is the Shadow Strike. Immediately after a parry, you can follow up with a quick light attack that inflicts a small amount of bleed damage. I'm not sure this is the best option after a parry, but it's definitely useful on some of the longer range characters that you wouldn't be able to get a guard break on. To execute it, get a parry, and right as your weapon crosses with your opponent's, press the light attack button. This one is timing sensitive, so you might have to practice it a few times to get the timing down. But that is pretty much the Shinobi, guys. If you haven't noticed by now, this character is all about mobility. You've got a ton of options for getting in and out of fights, you've got good initiators, and he does decent damage. On top of that, you've got an insane amount of mix-ups and a very large toolkit. I think it goes without saying that this character has a very high skill cap, and it's going to take some time to truly master him. Before we wrap this video up, though, I did want to show you guys all of the Shinobi Mythical and Elite outfits, as well as the ornaments if you haven't seen them already. If you have, and you're about to click off the video, I want to thank you real quick for watching before you go, and I do hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, leave a like down below and get subscribed so that you never miss any new content. I'll leave you guys with the cosmetics, and until next time, I'm BouseFeenux, and I'll see you at the next video.